that's absolutely, critical. Is you have to have fearlessness when you have the ball in your hands. When you come in as a young player, you're looking to make an impact in a program, and Niele Ivey was one of the best point guards to do it.
All right, tip underway, and the Wildcats will take control. It's a Northwestern team that had a down year last year. Staying here with the Wildcats, finished with a 9-21 record overall, just 2-16 in Big Ten play. Injuries played a huge part in that. We will talk about head coach Joe McEwen and what he has done in his 16 years at the helm there. But looking to improve, a lot of players back and healthy, which is the most important part.
Yeah, it's a team that really had trouble scoring the basketball, finishing in the bottom tier of the Big Ten. And Joe McEwen said, we're better offensively. We're young, though. We've got to find some experience. And going on the road in a tough environment is a great measuring stick.
There is head coach Joe McEwen, who just picked up his 252nd win, which is now the all-time program record. Here's a look at the Notre Dame starting five. Talked about Hidalgo, Sonia Citron, and Maddy Westbeld. Two key players returning back as that shot is drained by Mel Daly, who is leading this team, averaging 23 points per game through the first two.
And Mel Daly is really one of those players on this team, and maybe the only player who can just go get a bucket. Well, it's important for her to establish herself early. She is lethal in that mid-range pull-up.
A turnover early for Notre Dame. You see the record there, 1-1. Remember, they went to Paris to play in the We Play game. Coming off a win against NJIT. That's a nice scoop and score for Caroline Lau, sophomore out of Westport, Connecticut. And it's a 4-0 Northwestern lead in the home opener for Notre Dame. Into the corner shot here is off the top of the backboard, out of the hands of Anna DeWolfe, the graduate transfer from Fordham.
One of the challenges when you play a team like Northwestern is Northwestern plays predominantly zone defense. It's not settling for outside shots early. How does Notre Dame attack the zone? How do they get interior scores? Is it with passing? Is it with cutting? Is it with driving?
Lau gets to the free throw line. Nice bounce pass. Paige Mott lays it up and in, and a 6-0 start for the Cats.
I think Caroline Lau is going to be huge for Northwestern. She is a player who can really set the tone because of her ability to score off the dribble, but the facilitating, making the right play, the right decision.
Taken the other way and can't finish off the steal from Hidalgo. And now it's taken right back on back-to-back possessions. Notre Dame a little bit careless with the ball early on here. And that'll force Niele Ivey to call a timeout. Northwestern out to an 8-0 lead in the first 2+ minutes of this game.
There's some things.
Whatever you're saving for, we're all better off with an Ally. You got to look at the 1999 Purdue Boilermakers hoisting the trophy there, and then a couple years later, it was Niele Ivey cutting down the nets of the championship. And Steph, I know you have high praise when you talk about Niele, but both of you, obviously, we got a couple of coaches of the year in the game today. But yeah, incredible stuff for both of you. It's a lot of work to do for Niele here. Her team down 8-0 to start the game. You saw that flash up there, 28 consecutive home openers won, and there's Hannah Hidalgo cashing in the three. They need her to get going, but more importantly, they need to take care of the ball, Steph.
Yeah, it's important. I mean, this is a team that had a slow start against the New Jersey Institute of Technology as well, but they got it going with their defense just like that, turning defense into offense. Anna DeWolfe gets an easy 2.
Anna DeWolfe had 10 points in that win over NJIT, went 5 for 6 from the field, getting it done defensively there. Caroline Lau. 3-ball for Kylee Walsh off to the left, and the rebound to Citron. She's going to lead the break. Notre Dame looking to push a little bit. Hidalgo.
Notre Dame is they're at their best for 3. When they can push in transition. That doesn't always have to be off of a steal. You force a jump shot, you're able to get the defensive board, push and find the right play, the open teammate.
So just like that, an 8-0 run is answered by the Irish, and we're back tied. Lau loses the handle, and Citron picks it up. Quickly up the floor, DeWolfe behind the back to Hidalgo, and one.
Certainly, Niele Ivey challenging her team in that timeout to come out with more energy. You don't want to assume because you're at home, you're just going to show up and win the ball game. She challenged her team. They picked it up on the defensive end of the floor. They're pushing in transition. You see the emotion. Nice pass by Anna DeWolfe.
Anna DeWolfe, mostly known for her shooting ability. She made 238 threes during her time in the A-10 with Fordham. Northwestern getting it into that left corner. Mel Daly off the mark, and an offensive rebound for Weaver.
Got the switch. Yeah, see if they can take advantage of it. Great help defense by Maddy Westbeld.
Yep, Hannah Hidalgo out. Got numbers here in the pass to Kassan Prosper. Bodies on the floor, and a jump ball possession arrow will go to Notre Dame. All right, so what have you seen in the first couple minutes here so far, Stephanie?
Well, I think first and foremost, just the response by Notre Dame. Niele Ivey having to use that timeout, which you certainly don't want to have to do if you're a coach, but really challenging her team to come out with more energy, play with more effort, and they've responded.
Hannah Hidalgo, the number 5 overall recruit, the top-rated point guard, open from 18 feet, leaves it short. And a whistle under the basket's going to stay here, going against Paige Mott. It's going to be her first. We talked about her head coach, Niele Ivey, and the job that she has done. 4th season now at Notre Dame. Took this team to the Sweet 16 last year, where they lost to the 2-seed Maryland, but 2023 ACC Coach of the Year. And they got a lot of experience back, 83% of their scoring. The biggest question mark for Notre Dame is the availability or lack thereof for Olivia Miles, who was injured in the regular season finale for Notre Dame last year, as that one falls through for Nat Marshall, the 6'5" senior from Queens.
Well, there's no one who can replace what Olivia Miles brings. I mean, not just from a scoring and facilitating perspective, but she's a terrific rebounder from the guard position. But having Hannah Hidalgo, allowing Sonia Citron to play off the ball, which is her natural position, is going to continue to open up. But there's going to be an adjustment. We're going to see a period of time that it takes this offense to start to click, really learn one another.
Notre Dame picked to finish 4th in the preseason polls last year, and ended up finishing 15-3 in ACC play, thanks in large part to Olivia Miles, who again was leading the conference in points, assists, steals, up until the time of her injury. But here on the sidelines, and it was also interesting hearing from Niele how Olivia and Hannah Hidalgo converse and talk about the point guard spot.
Well, anytime you have an opportunity to sit on the sidelines and see the game from a different perspective, you're able to pass on that knowledge. Olivia Miles is already one of the highest IQ players to ever play the game, and now she's seeing it differently. She's able to use her voice, talk to Hannah Hidalgo, walk her through some situations, and having that peer leadership is so important.
Weaver in the paint. That's no good. Notre Dame on a 15-0 run over the last 2.5 minutes. Hidalgo looking inside. Marshall. Good defense from Paige Mott. Tries to kick it out, and it's into the hands of Daly. Here's Caroline Lau in the open floor. Lays it up and in with a right hand. Caroline Lau with 4 of Northwestern's 12 points. Prosper trying the extra pass. Back-to-back turnovers for Notre Dame now. Here comes Weaver. Bounce pass to Daly. And she lays it up and in. Now here comes Northwestern.
Northwestern having success when they're able to get pressure on the defense and force turnovers, get out in the open floor. Joe McEwen talked to us about this. He's known for his blizzard defense, which is this matchup zone, and they really create havoc. He said, right now we're a little more like a quiet storm. We've got to find our disruption, but they've been aggressive and disruptive early.
We've already got 10 turnovers combined between these two in the first quarter. Daly, tough shot. Hand in the face from Hidalgo there, and it will be Notre Dame basketball. Oh, we mentioned earlier, Joe McEwen earned the program's all-time record in Northwestern, and also the all-time leader in wins for George Washington as well. We'll step aside for a quick break as Notre Dame with a 3-point lead in the first.
We pick up the phone because it's ringing. I should get this. Hello, this is Sam. How can I help you? That's simple human sense. Ask your...
Well, Hannah Hidalgo was hyped all offseason, and has she lived up to the hype? 9 of the 15 points for Notre Dame here in the early going. At 26 points against NJIT, and also dropped 31 against South Carolina in the loss at the league play game in Paris. Reigning ACC Rookie of the Week this week. Here's Watson driving, can't finish at the rim. Mel Daly blocked from behind by Kylee Watson out of bounds.
I think the emergence and evolution of Kylee Watson is going to be big for Notre Dame as this season progresses. Think about the interior presence that was lost with Lauren Ebo, who came on late in the year after coming back from injury. But Kylee Watson has the potential to be that defensive stopper, to be that go-to back-to-the-basket player down low.
And a DeWolfe with 4 points in the first quarter. One of the 2 transfers that joined the Fighting Irish this year. DeWolfe, 4-year starter at Fordham. They also brought in Becky Obinma from Pepperdine. (17-12), 2.5 to go in the first. Citron from the wing, in and out, offensive rebound, Watson, and she puts it back up and in. Kylee Watson, the 6'4" senior from Linwood, New Jersey.
And that's great work. It is very difficult to box out in a zone, and when you get it shifting, it makes it tough. And Kylee Watson had perfect position, getting extra possessions.
You talked about it too, Stephanie, but one of the, I don't want to call it concerns, but certainly one of the questions was, how is Notre Dame going to replace Lauren Ebo? And maybe the lack of proven experience, production in the low post. You know, Ebo was a huge part to this team last year. And Kylee Watson was a great player last year, 7 points and 4 rebounds, but it's about taking that next step and elevating the game, right?
Yeah, it really is. It's about being that presence on both ends of the floor. Can you be a go-to with your back to the basket? You don't have to score, but put some pressure on the defense. And then defensively, shot alterer, shot blocker, take up space, not allow easy scores in transition. Activity level, just like that, leading to transition.
Citron pulls up, now goes to the basket, gets bumped on the floor. And that could be the second foul on Paige Mott.
I mean, this is just terrific defense. Kylee Watson keeps her feet moving. She uses her length to get a hand on the ball and lead to transition.
So Mott will stay in the game, a key player for Northwestern with 2 fouls, so something to keep an eye on. But also worth keeping an eye on the 7 turnovers for Notre Dame now in this first quarter. This was a bit of an issue last year with Notre Dame, was the turnovers, but when you have players like Olivia Miles and Hannah Hidalgo who can make things happen, you kind of take the good with the bad sometimes. But I don't know if those are the kind of turnovers we're seeing here in the first quarter.
Yeah, and I think it's different when it's aggressive turnovers. When you play with that, when you have the ball in your hands a lot, you're going to have some, particularly as a young player. But collectively, Notre Dame careless with the basketball early. These aren't necessarily forced turnovers.
Mel Daly, shot clock winding down, gets it into Mercy Adamaseo, who puts it up and in. 6'4" junior, who has kind of been injured, but Coach McEwen says he'd love to use her a little bit more.
Well, that was a really good defensive possession and a better offensive possession, really forcing Northwestern to be uncomfortable, making plays at the end of shot clocks, getting to multiple options. I mean, that's just a terrific pass, and when you have the length of Mercy Adamaseo being able to throw it up there and get it to her. And you mentioned it, Joe McEwen talked about we need her to continue to come along. She's been hampered by injury through most of her career. He's ready for her to turn a corner.
Here's Harder on the drive with the left hand. Casey Harder, the first-year guard from Pennsylvania, had 11 minutes in the game against Omaha, but did not score. A couple of assists. It's a long jumper for Sonia Citron.
Sonia Citron's just so smooth. You know, she is cool as a cucumber. She doesn't get rattled. Niele Ivey talks so much about her being the glue. I mean, she really is. Every time you need a bucket, you give her the ball and she can go to work.
Yeah, quiet superstar on this team. 26 points for Citron on Sunday. That's an 18-footer short for Daly. 3-on-2. Westbeld leading the break. Hands it off to Emma Risch. Back to Westbeld. Got to go here. 3 seconds. Citron open for three. And she hits. Not only as a freshman, but really of any class in the country, I think she could play with the best and has proven to do so when she won the co-MVP at the McDonald's All-American game. But, yeah, I mean, it's the confidence, it's the fearlessness with which she plays. And I don't know if I've ever really seen a freshman come in with this much confidence and also have this much production. But
well, Sam, there's a whole slew of them this year across the country. This is an exciting class to watch.
No question about it. So back-to-back turnovers here. That's been the story of this game so far as Emma Risch steps into a three. And a foul under the basket. That's going to go against Nat Marshall.
I like the looks that Notre Dame's getting in transition. They're getting open looks. It's a miss here, and you can see Marshall just the two hands in the back. Contact called for that foul. But this is a team in Notre Dame that can play well in transition. They're not always going to be layups. They're going to be transition threes, open threes. Get teams in rotation early. Find offensive rebounds off of those long shots.
I think it's a 10-second violation there in the backcourt for Northwestern. So the defense for Hannah Hidalgo, you know, we mentioned the shot-making ability, but also 7.5 steals through the first 2 games, which is tied for most in all of college basketball.
And Niele Ivey praising her defensive energy. Says her defensive energy is contagious. Sam, you don't see a lot of freshmen coming in who are buying into the defense the way that she has already. I mean, there are a lot who come in and who are able to get steals or have been able to get steals because they've always been the best player on the floor. She is a disciplined, detailed, energy defender. And KK Bransford, it looks like, on the floor for the first time this season.
Bransford with the boards. Yes, no question about it. 2022 McDonald's All-American Game player was day-to-day, we were told, by Niele Ivey, but now appearing for the first time this season, a sophomore at Cincinnati, Ohio.
And having her on the floor is such a help for Niele Ivey. I mean, this is a team, when you look on paper and you watch the film, one of the questions could be the quality of depth. Who's going to be able to come off the bench? Who's going to be able to give a lift? If you have someone that's in foul trouble, what is the quality of the depth? And KK Bransford certainly adds to that.
All right, Friday we have 2 featured ACC men's basketball matchups. First, Bucknell taking on number 9 Duke. Just had a huge win over Michigan State last night. That'll be in Durham at 6 Eastern time. Then UC Riverside in Chapel Hill to take on number 20 North Carolina at 8 Eastern. Catch all the action on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. So the home opener for Notre Dame, picked to finish second in the ACC preseason polls this year. High expectations, as always, in South Bend for the Fighting Irish.
And they wouldn't have it any other way.
No, they would not. Nice crossover from Lau. Gets into the paint. Can't finish, but an offensive rebound for Adamaseyo. And the follow is no good. Oh, what a touch pass to Hidalgo. That was like a volleyball set right into the hands of Hannah Hidalgo. And she's now already in double figures. Three ball for Weaver. Catches the net.
Kylee Weaver shot the ball from three incredibly well this season. Was 4 of 8 coming into the game after just shooting at 25% the year before. So something that she's worked on, and Northwestern's going to need that. Can they get consistent outside shooting? That's going to be the question. They've got to be able to answer it.
Wildcats started this game on an 8-0 run. It was quickly answered out of a timeout. Niele Ivey was able to instill some words and probably some harsh ones into her players, and they came back on a 15-0 run to answer, and now lead 27-19 in the second quarter. Nice feed inside to Maddy Westbeld. Great vision from KK Bransford there.
Well, Notre Dame utilizing the high post early in the first quarter. In the second quarter now, the short corner and the high post dive. Continuing to find different ways to attack the zone.
Weaver fakes the jumper, now shoots it. Off the back iron, there's the 6'4" frame for Adamaseyo. And Hidalgo reels that one in. Numbers for Notre Dame, quickly up ahead. DeWolfe underneath the basket, able to get it to go. And DeWolfe now with 6 points on the game, and a timeout on the floor for Northwestern and head coach Joe McEwen.
Transition defense is what Joe McEwen was concerned about, and rightfully so. Notre Dame head up, finding the open player, an easy bucket.
At the end of the season was not available for the ACC tournament nor the NCAA tournament, and the timeline for return, well, there isn't one. But when she does come back, Stephanie, and you put Olivia Miles on the same floor in the same backcourt as Hannah Hidalgo, I mean, that spells problems for the rest of the country, never mind the ACC. But what could that look like? Give us a little teaser.
It can look scary, but it'll be fun to watch. You know, both of these players, terrific defensive rebounders who can initiate break, who can break down defenders one-on-one. I think Olivia Miles is a little bit more of a facilitating point guard, where Hannah Hidalgo is a scoring point guard. So playing off of one another, you know, will be big. And as the season progresses, if Olivia Miles is able to come back, and you know, whether she's working towards that or not, we don't know, but if you could take some pressure off of Hannah Hidalgo, once you get deep into conference play and into the postseason, and add her off the ball a little bit more, I mean, this is a team that could be, they're already scary, but they could be really scary when Olivia Miles gets back on the floor.
Citron gets her own rebound. Hidalgo, couple dribbles in and buries the mid-range jumper, and Hidalgo has 13 of the team's 33 points so far in this game.
And Sam, one of the things I think that's underrated about a young player playing in her third game of her collegiate season, first collegiate season, is how vocal Hannah Hidalgo is. With the ball in her hands as a point guard, you have to be vocal, and she is emerging as not just an emotional leader, but a great overall communicator for this team.
Citron has it blocked by Paige Mott. Up ahead, Daly with the step through and converts. Mel Daly, leading scorer on this team so far in the game with 6. Wide open three for Citron. You can't leave her open in the corner. That's her spot. 8 points for Sonia Citron, her second 3 of the game.
You certainly can't. And the Ivy talked about Sonia Citron working on her volume threes, catch and shoot. She knows she's going to have a point guard that can find her. She makes herself available, and she lets it fly.
Sonia Citron's improvements from her freshman year to last year were really astounding, especially in the three-point shooting department. Nice extra pass from Mott to find the cutting Daly. But just back on Citron, she was a 34% three-point shooter freshman year, moved it to 40% as a sophomore. And a slow start from three this season. Came into the game 2 for 7, but she's made 2 already in this one. No board for Westbeld.
What she was able to do at the end of last season when she had to slide over and play that point guard role in the ACC tournament and in the NCAA tournament, and really, I think, give up some of her strengths for the betterment of the team, and took that team to a Sweet 16 by doing that. I mean, she really is a very versatile player, but now able to get back to her natural position and do what she does best.
Daly down low, and Watson there with the swat. Skip pass over to DeWolfe for 3, no good. And DeWolfe ends up with it around midcourt. Hidalgo's calling for it, but DeWolfe will get fouled on the way up, so she'll go to the line to shoot 2. Anna DeWolfe, a 3-time Gatorade State Player of the Year out of Maine. We mentioned a lot of time at Fordham, 240 made threes during her time. It's the second most made in school history for the Rams. Now coming over to help out Notre Dame, obviously with the graduation of Dara Mabry, and really the unfortunate injury that she had last year as well. Well, keep in mind, Sunday, the women's college basketball doubleheader for you on the ACC Network. Up first, number 25, Oklahoma, visiting Virginia. And then at 2 Eastern, it'll be followed up by Bucknell taking on Louisville. They're ranked 19th right now at 4 Eastern time. Both games also available on the ESPN app. You can also watch anywhere, anytime.
And Sam, that was the 3rd foul on Paige Mott for Northwestern. And Paige Mott is one of those players who is a glue player inside, her presence in the high-low game with Kylee Walsh, who's really yet to get going in this ball game. But she's a defensive presence. She's a terrific rebounder. Having her off the floor is problematic for the Wildcats.
Oh, and the threes are falling now. Kassan Prosper jumps in on the party. Notre Dame 5 for 9 from beyond the arc here in this first half. And an answer. Corner 3 knocked down by Weaver.
You set the tone when you're able to get out in transition, when you're able to get easy buckets at the rim, because in transition defense, then you're protecting the paint first. Now Notre Dame finding open three-point shooters. They're stepping up and they're knocking them down.
Citron gets to the rim, no good, and the rebound brought in by Kylee Walsh.
That's that energy.
Oh, pick in the pocket there. Hidalgo, an easy layup for 2. Anna Hidalgo with 15 points now on the game. Oh, and couple that with 4 steals.
But the way that she does it, Sam, she's disciplined. You don't see her slapping to get steals. She's disciplined. She has her hand right there in case of a crossover. She gets a deflection that leads to steals. Now, she's not taking chances. She's taking what's given to her, and there's a difference. You can see she just gets a hand on it, but she doesn't lunge. She doesn't get out of position. So then she's in position when Lau gets off balance, and she's able to create that offense. That is a skill. That is taking pride in being a great individual one-on-one defender.
It's just amazing, the motor on Hannah Hidalgo. It's great when you're 18, but man, she just is relentless out there, and so too has this Notre Dame defense, coast to coast for Citron. She's now got 10 points on the game, and Notre Dame opening up this lead as we get set to close out the second quarter, around 2 minutes to go. Now Prosper with a hand in the passing lane. And Prosper misses the layup, but DeWolfe is there. Now Prosper again. And knocked out of bounds by Weaver. It's going to be Irish ball. Kassan Prosper, what a week that she has had. Just over a week ago, she was in Paris with the team. Then she flew to Colombia to play for the Canadian women's national team on their Olympic qualifying campaign. 2 continents in a week. That's a pretty good week.
It's a pretty good week, and one of the things that Neil Ivey talked about was just her experience, international experience, what she brings to the table. She's played a lot of basketball, and she has the unique ability with her length, her speed, her quickness, her athleticism. And she came in as a mid-year enrollee, so we've really only seen her in half of a season collegiately, but using that international experience, coming in and making a difference.
One of the 3 5-star recruits that Coach Ivey got in the 2023 cycle. Oh, and by the way, they just signed another one yesterday. So this team is stacked with talent. Citron, the recipient of that great pass.
Notre Dame teams have always been great at sharing the basketball, and you can't really underestimate or undervalue how making a pass on time and on target, how important that is to the efficiency that teams shoot with. And this is a team that's getting easy, high percentage looks. They're making the pass on time, on target, sharing the basketball.
Substitutions for both sides here. 1:07 to go. It was a slow start for Notre Dame and company, but once the second quarter came around, it started to look like the Notre Dame that we have all grown to know under Neil Ivey's direction. An 8-0 run over the last 2 minutes. 51-26 is the score. Citron in the corner for 3. Yes, another one. Knocked down for Sonia Citron. Make it 3 on the night.
And that's going to be a conversation by Joe McEwen in the locker room at halftime. We have got to be aware of where number 11 in the white jersey is defensively. Communication will clear a lot of that up. She's getting some easy open looks.
And Marish up the floor, and Citron will slow it down. But, you know, we can talk about this in the second half, but when you have a driver like Hannah Hidalgo and you got a shooter on the perimeter, that spells trouble for the opponent. About a 2-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock, and DeWolfe will come up short on a 3. Didn't touch the rim though, so 2 seconds on the shot clock, and Citron cleans it up. We've seen it in the league, and we see it at the college game. This really, you said it earlier, Steph, this feels like a continuation a little bit from last year, which was a record-breaking year in the collegiate game on the women's side as well.
And honestly, women's basketball deserves more. You know,
no doubt.
I think it's proven that when you give it an opportunity, when you put it where people can find it, the viewership is there, the interest is there. And this is an opportunity to continue to showcase their talents on a great stage. And no, it's time. It's time.
No doubt.
And you're absolutely right. That momentum from the NCAA tournament last year has carried over, and it is great to see.
Starting the third quarter here, Notre Dame with a healthy 56-26 lead. See that there? They have won 28 consecutive home openers.
And it's tough, Sam, when you have a lead like this to maintain that urgency and intensity. I would imagine that's going to be the challenge from this Notre Dame staff. We're challenging ourselves to be an elite level team for 40 minutes, no matter the score.
Fighting Irish shooting over 50% in this game.
See the change in defense by Northwestern, predominantly a 2-3 zone team. Now it looks like they might be even a triangle and 2 on Hannah Hidalgo and Sonia Citron.
I got to imagine that I don't know if you could call it a blueprint, but I think a lot of teams in the ACC are going to have to get a little bit creative with how they defend Notre Dame this year, just because they can hurt just so many different ways. As Westbeld open for the baseline jumper and knocks it in. Maddy Westbeld, 4 points in the game.
Yeah, I think you have to try to keep this team off balance. This is a very rhythm offensive team and program, and has been. They are lethal when they get in transition. I think they're a terrific defensive team. They were efficient offensively and defensively a year ago. So you got to find ways to disrupt. And that's not just through the course of a half. That's through the course of a quarter. You've got to make Hannah Hidalgo continue to think and study and wonder what's coming next.
Nice find from Westbeld. Got to the free throw line and gave it up to Citron. It's a hard foul there. Hidalgo on the floor and a little bit slow to get up.
And if that's Paige Mott, that's her fourth.
Yeah, so our officiating crew is going to go over to the monitor and take a further look at that foul there as Hidalgo now on her feet. We will step aside for a short break. All right, so here's a look at the foul committed by Paige Mott. Setting the screen against Hannah Hidalgo. What do you see, Stephanie?
Well, certainly it's a foul on Paige Mott. She's still moving. She's shifting to the right. Comes a little bit upward with the arms. It's reviewed because of a possible upgrade, and they did upgrade it to a technical foul.
Wow. Okay. So a technical foul issued on Mott. 4 fouls. She's on the bench. But clearly our officiating crew of Puolani, Spurlock, Welsh, T.R. Cruz, and Gina Cross thought there was enough there after review to elevate that to a technical foul on Paige Mott.
When you think about where Hannah Hidalgo is on the floor, she is vulnerable in that situation. I think if you're a defender and you're on that coaching staff, you're talking about communicating that screen, but the little extra kind of lift up, I think, by Mott is what changed it.
Nice move by Watson in the paint there. Foul against Hannah Hidalgo. That'll be her second. If you're Northwestern and Coach Joe McEwen, what do you want out of your team in this game? It's a little bit out of reach now, pending any sort of dramatic comeback. So how do you get better in this game if you're Northwestern?
I think you talk about the fact that we're working on us. We're trying to continue to improve as Haley Weaver knocks down a 3. This is a young team. Was certainly going to be a challenge going into this environment at Notre Dame to be able to come out with a win. But we're working on being better offensively. We're working on being better defensively. Offensive execution's the best transition defense, and right now Notre Dame is excelling in the open court. So take better care of the basketball, be more efficient and intentional in our offensive execution.
Bit of a slow start to the season for the three-point sharpshooter. Anna DeWolfe is 0 for 4 tonight. How about that move from Hidalgo driving baseline?
And Joe McEwen talked about their one-on-one defense and being able to contain drives. But Hannah Hidalgo is so shifty. She gets you off balance just a beat and is able to get to the rim.
17 points tonight. That's 57 points in her first 2 games. So I'm not great at math, but you could add that up. That's Watson adding up the block against Walsh. Take another look at this, Stephanie White. Just the ability to create her own shot and get to the rim is spectacular.
Well, she sets it up like she's coming off of the on-ball screen, and she reads the defense perfectly. She takes a terrific angle to the rim. There's subtleties in her game that a lot of young people and a lot of young players don't have. You can tell that Hannah Hidalgo is a student of the game. You can tell that she values the details, and she utilizes them.
Sonia Citron called for the foul there on Mel Daly. I believe Daly was going up for the shot there, so she'll go to the line to shoot too. But yeah, I mean, you asked Neil Ivey about Hannah Hidalgo, obviously, and whether she expected her to be this good this early, and she said yes. And you also talked to the teammates on this team, and they also would say, yeah, we knew this was coming. We've seen it all summer long. Well, Saturday, tune into our Week 12 ACC Network football lineup, starting with number 10, Louisville versus Miami at noon Eastern. And the Hokies host the Wolfpack from Blacksburg at 3 Eastern time, capping off the day with Syracuse taking on Georgia Tech at 8. Both games also available on the ESPN app, so you can watch anywhere, anytime. College football season, get down to the end of it. College basketball season just getting underway. November's one of my favorite months of the sports season as Hannah Hidalgo once again takes it away and hits a three. Got a feeling we're going to be seeing a lot of that this year.
No doubt about it. And Sam, she makes it look easy, but that is hours and hours and hours of work and film study and timing and patience. But Neil Ivey talked about she's a high IQ player. She loves to watch film. She's challenged every day. And we can easily get swayed in watching what she does on the offensive end of the floor. But the defensive end of the floor and her ability to stay disciplined, to get these steals, a one-on-one defense, and then to convert on the other end is impressive. Not just for a young player, for any player, but certainly a player who comes in just 3 games into their freshman season.
What is she looking at when she's playing defense? Is she looking at the hips? She's not looking at the ball. What is a defender like her looking for?
Yeah, I think she's just got really good instincts. I think that she senses the cadence of the dribble because she times it perfectly. Typically you want to look right at their belly button to make sure that you're staying on balance and you're not getting thrown off by any shoulder shake or any in and out dribble. But she does a lot of things that you just can't teach. But what's most impressive is her discipline and energy on the defensive floor.
"21 steals for the first 3 games is insane."
Sure is.
A lot of contact on Westbeld going up, and the whistle against Jasmine McWilliams, the senior out of Indianapolis, Indiana. Again, 4 fouls on Paige Mott, who was crucial for Northwestern coming into this game, averaging 13.5 points for the first 2. So she's on the bench for the foreseeable future, and McWilliams will have to kind of carry a lot of the load there, standing at 5'11" against the 6'3" Maddy Westbeld there. How about Maddy Westbeld, Steph, and talk a little bit about her? Obviously the most experienced player on this team, and she's playing in her 89th game for Notre Dame today. She has started all 89. When you look at the numbers last year, offensively, it might not have been what she put up her freshman year, but she does everything for this team.
She does, and Neil Ivey talked about leaning heavily on her experience, on her vocal leadership. She is a player who's, you mentioned it, most experienced in Neil Ivey's system and how she wants to play. I'd like to see Maddy Westbeld be a little more aggressive on the offensive end of the floor. I think she's such a gifted inside-outside player, can stretch the defense, can take it off the bounce. You don't see her do it that often. I'd like to see her hunt a little bit more opportunities offensively. She is electric in transition, always stays on balance, rejecting the screen, getting to the rim. Lethal on the defensive end of the floor, and I think that this is one of the most impressive things about this young player is her defensive energy and intensity.
Yeah, no doubt about it. 7.5 steals for the first 2 games of the season. She's on the bench with 3 fouls now, but another impressive game defensively that'll add to the steal total after this one is done. 21 steals this season, 76 points. Those totals are only going to increase. Marshall skip pass into the corner. Quick ball movement. Hassan Prospero underneath to Westbeld. Double team coming. Pass gets to DeWolfe, and she walks.
And so this is an area where I think Neil Ivy's going to have to challenge her team in the second half because they're scoring in transition, working on their half-court execution when opportunity isn't there to explore in transition. Missed a couple of chances to get Maddy Westbeld the ball on the block in a high-low and then on a ball reversal. No, teams have to pick their poison. Are they going to try to defend Notre Dame one-on-one, guard them man-to-man? Are they going to throw some different looks in the zone at them? This is the perfect opportunity to challenge this team if you're Neil Ivy.
Casey Harder with the ball, thought about the three. Find underneath, and that's Adam Aseo with the easy bucket. Little miscommunication defensively for Notre Dame. And a takeaway. That's Mel Daly. Daly working on DeWolfe, and she gets fouled. No, that's offensive. DeWolfe able to obtain legal guarding position.
I love this effort by Anna DeWolfe. She turns the ball over, but she doesn't quit on the play. She gets back. She establishes herself 2 feet down, takes the offensive foul.
So you mentioned the half-court offense, Stephanie. Where do you want to see them improve a little bit more? Where do you want to see the ball to go here in the second half?
Well, I think just keeping the ball moving. It's getting stuck a little bit on the perimeter, finding ways to get the ball to the high post, to the short corner, moving it a little bit quicker as opposed to catching and holding.
That was a foul against Notre Dame. Casey Harder was the ball handler. Harder in the paint, and she's fouled. Emma Risch whistled for the contact. That's her first. Casey Harder will go to the free throw line. Another one of those young players that Coach Joe McEwen has high hopes for out of New Jersey. Really excited to showcase her size and point guard ability at 5'11". Now, it seems like this is a larger conversation, Stephanie, but this is where the game has gone. And talk about those combo guards, those players who have size that can handle the ball, and you get the pleasure of coaching one of the best to do it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You know, I think that you mentioned it, the evolution of the game. Players are as skilled and talented and athletic as they've ever been, but they're also as versatile as they've ever been. And being able to handle the ball, facilitate, score. Of course, Alyssa Thomas, who you're referring to, is our point forward. You know, as well, and you know, it's not as unique as it used to be, but having players who can do all of those things, and it gives coaches a lot of options when it comes to running offense.
I got to imagine that makes your job a little bit easier. The Season 4 premiere of All Access, the ACC Live, is Sunday and features Clemson women's soccer, Florida State volleyball, and Georgia Tech men's cross country. You'll get unprecedented access into the lives of the student-athletes, coaches, staff, parents, and fans. 6 Eastern after Pitt and Clemson soccer right here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. And it's an offensive foul. Yeah, that's on Mott. That'll be number 5. Or no, excuse me, that's going on Daly. Nope, it's going on Mott. That's her 5th. You're right the first time. So Mott has fouled out in this game, had the technical foul earlier on in the third quarter. So not the day for Paige Mott. Just 2 points. Again, was averaging 13.5 coming into this game. One of the predominant forces down low for Northwestern. Actually led the country for the first 2 games in rebounding as well. 16.5 rebounds a game.
had that 20 rebound performance against UIC. And Joe McEwen was talking about Paige Mott and Kylee Walsh really learning how to play off of one another and kind of meshing about midway through conference play a year ago. Kylee Walsh, another one, returning leading scorer. Need her production offensively, and she's been quiet, has yet to score the basketball.
0 for 7 on the floor for Kylee Walsh, number 10 in purple.
And again, give credit to this Notre Dame ball club and the defensive energy. Neil Ivey using an early timeout after a slow start, and they have responded.
It's KK Bransford with the ball, 10 on the shot clock. Citron looking underneath, and Watson's fouled, and we'll have a chance at a three-point play.
And Sam, that's just another example of Sonia Citron's poise. A shot clock winding down, could very easily find her own shot, but delivers the right play, the right pass, on time, on target, leads Kylee Watson into this layup. I mean, those are things that you can't teach, and that is the difference with Sonia Citron on the floor.
23 points, 5 boards, 3 assists for the junior out of Eastchester, New York. Here is Walsh trying to create space. And the 3 ball is good for Maggie Pina, a grad transfer from Boston University. The first grad transfer to come over to the program under head coach Joe McEwen. Watson, strong move, but that's offensive.
Bet it's tough to get into some of those grad programs at Northwestern, Sam.
No doubt. Yeah, no doubt. That's one of the challenges for Northwestern, and also, too, for
Notre Dame.
Coach Neil Ivey and Notre Dame.
Absolutely. It was interesting, you know, our conversation with Neil Ivey, and she has, since really she started coaching, been one of the premier recruiters in the country, and her finding the right fit for Notre Dame athletics and for Notre Dame as a university and academic institution. She's been able to do it throughout her entire career. It's no different now for her as head coach.
Hard or no good. We have a couple of Notre Dame players on the ground right now, and this does not look good. That's Sonia Citron underneath the basket on the ground. And immediate attention from the Notre Dame training staff. It's something you never want to see, that this early on in the season, the game where it's at. Sonia Citron's had such a great night. You see the team huddling there, Stephanie, and Notre Dame so high in the expectations this season, and we hope that Sonia Citron will be okay. But it appeared as if Kassan Prosper might have bumped into Sonia Citron, and Citron is still on the floor on the other side of the court right now, being attended to by the Notre Dame training staff. That's not something that the fans wanted to see in the home opener here. But we'll update you with any word that we get on Sonia Citron the remainder of this game. But obviously concerning for the fans and for the team, obviously, and for Sonia Citron. We hope that she is okay.
Yeah, no question about it. Not something that you want to see at any point in a career for a young athlete. Again, an opportunity, I think, for Niele Ivey to reframe and redirect her team, go out and to play hard for Sonia Citron right now.
Injuries were a problem for this team last year, and it's just it's unfortunate. It's part of the game, but it's you never want to see it. All these players out here are playing because they love the game, obviously, and they play so hard. But Sonia Citron exits the game with the help of the training staff, and again, we'll update you with anything that we get the rest of the way. Under a minute to play in the third quarter, 74-42. Notre Dame with a comfortable lead. Nice find for Emma Risch. And the assist, Becky Obinma, the transfer from Pepperdine, grad student by way of TCU.
Oh, great help defense.
And the block from Obinma. That was a big part of her game in the West Coast Conference. Was 9th in the conference last year in blocks, 7th in rebounding for the Waves.
And again, another interior body that can give you some of that defensive presence. And Niele Ivey talked about, obviously, very few teams in the country have a matchup defensively for Camila Cardoso from South Carolina.
Right.
But she talked about, the challenge of interior defense and, building that post rotation and depth in that rotation.
Risch for three. That'll end the third quarter, and the threes started to fall towards the second quarter and came alive in the third as well.
Aren't surprising people anymore.
Here's Walsh off the mark. Lau was there for the putback, couldn't finish, taken away. And it's Jasmine McWilliams unable to convert, quickly up the floor. Hidalgo gets it right back and finishes on the short jumper. And a Hidalgo with 19 points tonight, 8 for 10 from the floor. It's 81-42. Excuse me, now 21 points for Hidalgo. Shot clock down to 5 for Northwestern. It'll be Weaver for 3. She's hit a couple of them tonight. That one off the front rim. Hidalgo with it blocked by Weaver. That time saying, I'm going to close out quicker. Prosper, strong drive. Really good move from Kassan Prosper.
On balance. Being on balance allows her to go around the defender instead of through the defender.
Here she is again in the open floor. Couldn't finish. Talked about Illinois, this Northwestern team. The Big Ten's going to be tough this year. Hina's shot no good. Northwestern 2-16 last year in conference play. Losing record for the first time in a decade as Anna DeWolfe finishes on the reverse lay-in. Good game for Anna DeWolfe here today. She was really brought in for her three-point prowess, Steph, but a slow start from beyond the arc, 0 for 4. But she's made 4 field goals inside the arc.
Well, she's done a really good job of getting to the rim. You streak in transition, and Notre Dame has players on the floor that will find you. Anna DeWolfe is just a really smart player, high IQ player. She's used to being a scorer. Certainly will be looked upon to knock down long-range shots throughout the course of the season, finding her way in this offense.
McWilliams shot off the side of the backboard, and Adam Maceo's layup is no good. A scrum for the ball and a jump ball. Let's go Notre Dame's way. another point of emphasis for Niele Ivey. We talked about her, the rebounding for Notre Dame, which is always a trademark for Niele Ivey's teams. They like to move fast, but they finished 4th in the nation last year in rebounding margin, somewhere north of 10, plus 10, I should say. And didn't do great against South Carolina. That's understandable, but also started off really slow against NJIT in that department. But tonight, they have kind of gotten back to what we're used to seeing for Notre Dame, crashing the glass.
And when you asked Niele Ivey about it, she said it is a point of emphasis and really just asking everyone on the team to get 1 or 2 more rebounds. And that's also a mindset from the perimeter players. We get another easy 2 by Westbeld, but perimeter players getting in there and rebounding from the guard position.
Hina tries the bounce pass, knocked away by Kylee Watson. Here's DeWolfe in the open floor, and a hard foul there. DeWolfe hit the deck. Well, obviously one of the big stories, unfortunately, from this game is Sonia Citron and her injury. Exited in the 3rd quarter and have not gotten any word yet. She was helped off the court by the training staff here for Notre Dame. Hope that she is able to recover from that. Obviously, you have Olivia Miles in the house tonight, sitting on the bench. She is still recovering from an injury that she suffered at the end of the season last year. .23 points for Citron before she exited. Still leading all scores. Lau kicks it out. Daly with 5 to shoot. Mid-range, no good there for Daly. Got off to a good start in this game, and Notre Dame has put some pressure on her in the half court.
Good cut.
Nice cut from Bransford, and she gets fouled.
And that's what you're looking for against this zone. Anytime the ball goes to the short corner, you're looking for either a high post cut from a post player or that weak side 45-degree angle cut. And KK Bransford, again, this is her first game on the season. She is a player who got a lot of experience last year. And everybody ball watching for Northwestern, and Bransford finds the open area. But she is a terrific slasher. She's a great rebounder from the perimeter position as well, and someone that Notre Dame is going to lean heavily on both ends.
Sophomore out of Cincinnati, Ohio. Yeah, she was a crucial part to this team, coming off the bench, averaged north of 8 points per game for a good portion of the season last year. Daly with the drive, floater on the baseline, and it's brought in by Westbeld.
When you mentioned the versatility, having a player like Westbeld, she turns it over there, but to rebound the basketball and initiate offense.
Westbeld in the corner. Count it for 3. Maddy Westbeld knocks down her first of the game and her 3rd of the season.
I love it. Hannah Hidalgo still with the defensive energy and pressure.
And that's KK Bransford taking it all the way to the rack.
Hidalgo doesn't get that steal, but because of the pressure that she puts on the basketball, that allows KK Bransford to get in the passing lane and get that steal.
It's now 24 turnovers for Northwestern. No question, a lot of them have been forced by this Notre Dame defense today. The 17 steals for the Fighting Irish at home tonight in the opener. A couple of young fans liking what they're seeing tonight from the 16th ranked team in the country, Notre Dame, with a 97-44 lead over Northwestern. 4:06 left to play in the game, and Hannah Hidalgo has been a story through the first, we'll call it 2 weeks of the season, but she is playing nothing like a freshman. I mean, the numbers that she is putting up are unmatched, Stephanie, and the way that she's doing it in all facets is what's most impressive, maybe. It's not just the offense. It's not just the defense. It is also facilitating and talking. I mean, it is everything that a freshman really doesn't do, but yet here she is.
It's poise, it's composure, it's discipline, it's details, it's a lot of things that you can't teach to go along with a lot of the things that she has worked to hone from a skill standpoint throughout her entire career. But what I've been most impressed with is her energy, her consistent energy level. It doesn't wane throughout the ball game. She competes at a high level for 40 minutes, and that's impressive for any player, but especially for a young player.
It's been an uphill battle all night for Northwestern just to even get a shot off, because there are some long arms and passing lanes, which is making it really difficult for the Cats, as KK Bransford will take it and get fouled from behind by Adam Maceo, and we'll go to the line for two. Again, KK Bransford playing in the first game of the season for her here tonight. And makes the first. All right, Friday we have two featured ACC men's basketball matchups. First, Bucknell taking on number 9 Duke in Durham at 6 Eastern time. Then UC Riverside is in Chapel Hill to face number 20 North Carolina at 8 Eastern. Catch all the action on the ACC network and, of course, on the app. Stephanie White, Sam Ravitch on hand with you here at the Joyce Center as Notre Dame has eclipsed the 100-point mark. Once again this season, they saw South Carolina put up 3 digits against them and then turn the favor against NJIT and now Northwestern. So the offense is certainly there for this Notre Dame squad. And so Binma underneath, follows it up, and gets the roll. Also got Sarah Cernugel in the game for Notre Dame now. Trying to get some of those players some experience. Cernugel, a senior from Westmont, Illinois. 25 for the Fighting Irish. There she is closing out. And whistled for the foul there on the driving Pina. We got 2.5 minutes left here, Stephanie, and I feel like every time we talk about Notre Dame, the word expectation is not far behind. But when you look at the way that this team is composed this year, what's the ceiling for the 16th ranked team in the country now?
Well, I think this is a team that certainly has Final Four aspirations. I think anytime that you step on the floor and wear a Notre Dame Irish uniform, you're talking, Final Four national championships. I think the job that Niele Ivey has done in putting pieces together that will be able to compete for a national championship, I mean, it's just been outstanding. And, adjusting to all of the lessons she learned from the great Muffet McGraw and putting her own stamp on things and how her teams play and the energy with which they play with. I mean, this is a team that certainly staying healthy is going to be a major part of it, but has an opportunity to get to a Final Four in Cleveland.
Yeah, obviously, this is going to be a bittersweet win for Notre Dame with the question mark surrounding Sonia Citron and her availability going forward. Obviously, we hope nothing but the best. Such a crucial part to this team as Emma Risch hits the 12-foot jump shot. 5 points in the night for the freshman Emma Risch out of Melbourne, Florida.
one, you really can't, you can quantify what Sonia Citron does in her numbers, but the value of her, Neil Ivey has always said, the glue. Sonia's our glue. She's just one of those players who holds a team together, and certainly sending out good vibes and wishes and prayers for Sonia Citron.
No question. Nat Marshall there, the recipient of a good pass. And we'll have a 30-second timeout on the floor called by head coach Joe McEwen of Northwestern with 1:16 to go. So you got 5 players in double figures for Notre Dame tonight. And DeWolfe with a double-digit point performance with 10. Watson with 10 as well. You mentioned Citron's 23. And Hidalgo's 21. All right, Sunday, catch a women's college basketball doubleheader on the ACC network. Up first, number 25, Oklahoma will visit Virginia, and then at 2 Eastern time, they'll be followed by Bucknell and 19th-ranked Louisville. Kelly Gramlich and I will be on the call for that at 4 Eastern time. Both games also available on the ESPN app. You can watch anywhere, anytime. Lana Goodchild for Northwestern has also checked into the game, number 22. And it's going to be a kickball. Emma Risch got the foot out. How about just your thoughts on the ACC at large this year, Stephanie? Because we've seen the start that they've gotten off to. Some exciting games. Virginia Tech took Iowa and Caitlin Clark down to the wire, and then that huge upset for NC State. What do you make of this conference going into this year, which there's a lot of good basketball teams out there,
Yeah, certainly a premier conference in the country, a deep conference. Every night is going to be a battle. I was really impressed with Virginia Tech. I mean, think about what Virginia Tech lost and replacing two new starters in the starting lineup, trying to get a feel for playing against each other. Georgia Amore looks even better than she did a year ago, if that's possible. I mean, just so lethal. She looks stronger. She's continuing to create separation with that step back. I think Duke is going to surprise people. I really do, and I think this is a Duke team that has more offensive weapons than Kara Lawson's had since she stepped foot on campus. They've got length, they've got speed, they've got quickness, athleticism, they've got three-point shooters. It was certainly a huge win for Brooke Wyckoff at Florida State when they beat Tennessee. One to continue to build off of as well. Consistency and NC State. I mean, goodness gracious, the way that they came out and got UConn. Again, another team. What are they going to look like with what they lost? In the transfer portal in particular, what will they look like? And they certainly, answered some calls.
KK Bransford will hold the ball to end the game. The ACC, strong as ever maybe this year. And one of the strongest teams in the country performing at a very high clip tonight. 110-52 is your final. Number 16, Notre Dame and the LIV cruise to their second victory of the night. But again, bittersweet victory with the unknown.